Hi, it's Linda Russis with the Focus on Nova team for Century 21, here with your top 3 takeaway. And today we're talking about the earnest money deposit. So when you get involved with purchasing a home, you are going to have a lot of jargon that's thrown at you that you have never heard of before. So one of the items in the contract is earnest money deposit. So what is this? It's basically kind of a good faith offer that you're giving upfront with your contract. So when you're coming up to determine what this earnest money deposit is, which is a lump sum of money that you're telling the seller, look, we're going to put this money in escrow for this to hold on to as a good faith deposit. So when you're trying to decide the amount that you want to put in for an earnest money deposit, you really want to make sure that it's equivalent to the property that that's being purchased. So typically you're going to see maybe anywhere from 1 to 3% of the purchase price or the asking price be the earnest money deposit. As I mentioned, this is something that is paid up front. So once your contract is ratified, usually within 3 to 5 days, you have to either wire money or write a check to an escrow account, and that money is going to be held. So that's money that you do need up front in a transaction, and that's being held. Now, the big thing is the earnest money deposit is not an additional fee. This money is given or does get involved or goes into the closing costs, or it is applied to the closing costs at the time of this settlement. So it's money that goes towards those fees, and it's just paid once the contract is ratified. Now, some questions that people always have is, what happens if the deal doesn't close? What happens to your earnest money deposit? And my answer is, it depends. And sometimes, basically, it depends. So if for some reason a contract is voided and it is not on breach of contract due to the buyer, you have a very good chance of getting your earnest money deposit back. Now, if the buyer is in breach of contract for some reason, then that's where the money is kind of up for debate as to if the money stays with the seller due to their distress of having to put the house back on the market, and time that they have lost. But usually that's when a real estate lawyer is going to get involved. But typically, if the contract is voided amicably through the natural means that can be done when a contract is voided, such as on contingencies, appraisal, or homeowner or condo docs, then typically the earnest money deposit would go back to the buyer. Those are your top 3 takeaways for today when it comes to the earnest money deposit. If you have any questions when it comes to real estate, by all means, feel free to get in touch. My name is Linda Russis with the Focus on Nova team of Century 21 Redwood Realty.